Hey there, it's Justin, the Renegade Realtor, South Pasadena. Chris Hedges is a guy who wrote a book called War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning. He wrote a lot of books, and he worked for the New York Times. He's been all over. You probably know who he is. He's a big critic of American. He's a big critic of America and capitalism. And he has pointed out that the kind of the end stage of an empire tends to devour its own people. They tend to, start to prey on their citizens. I think you've seen this for years in the medical industry, where how going to a hospital now bankrupts you, right? And I think recently you're seeing this in the housing market, and it's a fairly new phenomena. What you're seeing is housing getting expensive far beyond what what normal market forces should be doing. For instance, from '62 to 2002, a 40-year period, housing prices bounced between 4 and 5 times the median income. So, the average house was sort of the average, was 4 to 5 times the average income of American citizens. And after 2002, it went up by quite a bit. And then it peaked out in '08, and there was a big downturn, and it went kind of down. It went down for a while, and then it went back up. Now, for a year or two in there, it did drop below 5 years income, and then it went back up, and it has spent most of the last 20 years above 5 times the annual income of the median income in America. So and it's gone really high. I think in '08 it was seven times. 7 times the annual income. That's a big, if you're paying those bills, that's a big difference. And now it's 8 times. That's crazy, right? It's almost double what it was through most of the second half of the 20th century. So, you think, what's up with that? This is supposed to be a free market economy. In other words, the market forces are supposed to regulate housing prices, which they did quite nicely for 40 years. What happened? A lot of people are pointing their finger at the financialization of the housing market. It's quite disturbing. Sorrel Amor does a beautiful episode of her YouTube channel about this. It's called, I believe it's called "You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy." It talks about how the prices of the North American market, as well as the whole world housing market, are getting jacked by the financialization of the housing market now. And it's not just that they're just, oh well, it's a free market, they're just buying houses. Well, it's a little more sinister than that. And I hope that Sorrel is not as, I hope she's not right. I think her argument is very compelling, and I think you should see her show. Another show that I watch all the time, because I use it to research this program, is Nick from ReVenture Consulting. And he's always saying that, oh, well, no, you're going to have a big housing downturn because housing is 8 times the median income, and it's, it should readjust itself to 4 to 5 times the median income, which is what it did traditionally. Unfortunately, I'm concerned that he's got it wrong at this point. I mean, I hope he's right. He's a good guy. He's a well-researched guy. He does a lot of work on his shows. However, I think he's using a model that may be outdated at this point, and that's quite disturbing, because he's saying, well, no, look, I'm sure housing will come down because it has to. The market forces of the median income buyer will bring it back down to a rational level. Well, it spent most of the last 20 years at a somewhat irrational level, far above 5 years income. Um, and well, it did dip below five very briefly. It's spent this 20-year period where it's above five. Why was it between 4 and 5 for 4 years, and now it can't? You can't do that anymore. What has changed? And I think one of the things that has changed are the investors, and who expect to get rich on housing. That's something very disturbing. And I encourage you to watch Nick Reventure and Sorrel on Sorrel Amor Finance, and do your own research. And I'd love to get your feedback on that, because I think big hedge funds and big investors are getting in and manipulating the market, and I think it's. I think at some point the federal government is going to have to legislate against this kind of investment, because I think if they give a damn about the rank and file Americans, citizens, normal people, the 99% like you and me, they are going to need to do something, or else there's going to be social unrest, and you don't want that in a country where firearms outnumber people. I certainly don't advocate that. I don't want to see that. But I think you're gonna, when you have this type of, I don't know what you want to call it, inflation, or a diminishment of the standard of living in the United States. You can call it whatever you want, but when you can't buy a house, you feel like you're living in a third world country. And I don't care what they say about inflation, or whether this is a recession or not. Can't buy a house, and you went to school, you research, you got a profession, you did everything you were supposed to do, and you're still stuck. That's not going to work. And so I hope the federal government will have some ideas and do some legislation, and I hope that the rank and file Americans will get up and vote, or that there will be that people will put forward suggestions or solutions as to what to do, because I find it's very disturbing. So hope for better days, and maybe market forces, maybe all these hedge funds will take a beating in the housing market and get out of it because they can't make a profit. Maybe market forces will solve the problem. Maybe Nick will have gotten it right. Keep your fingers crossed. Have a good day.